Welcome on in to your Wrestlemania prediction show, preview prediction show. Talking, some Wrestlemania here a little bit for you guys. I think Wrestlemania is going to hit it out of the park. I think they're going to hit it out of the park, and that's the way I hope we could all think, and I hope that's the way, the mindset that you have going into a WrestleMania. You want the WWE to hit it out of the park, because why wouldn't you? So where else are you going? You're going nowhere else. Everything is closed. You want to be entertained. 16 matches on the card. I believe it is 16 matches. They're splitting this up in halves. So, the pre-show begins at 6. Counting the pre-show, you're looking at a night that's going to go to probably, 11 o'clock. So look how many hours you're wasting in watching. Why wouldn't you want it to be a success? I think that's what we could cross our fingers for it to be successful, it to be enjoyable. I think they will do that. Honestly, I do. I think they will pull it together somehow. This is their show. This is the show that they talk about the whole year. The granddaddy of them all. And I think they want to kind of send a message to all the naysayers out there that they could do it, and I think they, and I think they will do it. Honestly, I do. So let's go in no particular order, starting with the first match. You have Sasha Banks versus Bayley, who's the champ, versus Naomi, versus Tamina, versus the Southern Belle herself. First of all, Tamina. If you look at Tamina, who just reappeared on our TV screen recently, that's like the highlight for Tamina in all of this. They want her to look like a threat after she pretty much hasn't been on TV for so long. I think they needed to do this to make Tamina look scary. I don't think Tamina's a threat in this. Naomi, been there, done that. Southern Belle, I think she's a major player in this. You had her. You were running with her, you were pushing with her very earlier on, late last year. Now she's when she was a heel, now she's a face. I think she's definitely has a story to tell, and that's a story that could be definitely told nicely now that she's a face. I don't think that story is ready to be told yet. I don't think it's her time. Then when I look at it, and I look at Bayley versus Sasha Banks. I think it's going to be some type of a, and listen, Bayley needed this change. She's a heel. Sasha is a heel too. But Sasha just plays that heel so much better than Bayley. But Bayley needed that change. I don't know, how they will do this. I think if I have to put my 2 cents on it, I think it will be some type of a tomfoolery or some type of fuckery. Maybe a quick roll-up. Quick roll-up by Sasha Banks on Bayley. And we'll go from there. Sasha Banks with the title. I think in the weeks to come, I think Bayley will still be with Sasha, and all right, it was always fair, and they act like they're friends still throughout this whole thing, and then I think eventually Bayley will turn face again. Sasha will betray her, saying, I never needed you, I was never your friend. After Bayley costs, Bayley costs, some type of a stipulation, some type of a match where if Bayley doesn't win, then she gets a title against Sasha. Something like that will play off, where in the coming weeks they'll be together, and someone's winning or losing will affect Sasha Banks with her title. That's when Sasha will fully, just absolutely betray Bayley, and Bayley will eventually turn face. So give me Sasha Banks winning that in that matchup, first matchup. Match that was added to the pre-show: Drew Gulak versus Cesaro. Cesaro kind of seems like he's already pinnacle to the height of where he's going to be. Mid-card, upper mid-card. He's been there forever in Cesaro. Just when you think that WWE is going to put him to the next level, upper tier level, that does not happen. So he always kind of stays in the same position. And that's what I see for Cesaro. Drew Gulak, PowerPoint presentation. You team him with Daniel Bryan here. Daniel Bryan has confidence in Gulak, wants to work with Gulak, thinks that Gulak has something in him. And, I think the WWE for now is going to go by that Daniel Bryan recommendation. I think Drew Gulak is going to beat Cesaro here. Sami Zayn versus Daniel Bryan. Sami Zayn finally gets his title, gets his... Surprisingly, everyone on the internet exulted, rejoiced by a Sami Zayn title win. Finally, a Sami Zayn title win. Hallelujah. And he got so much pop, so much positive review, and even Sami Zayn was taken aback by it, by him being a heel. You really haven't seen much of Sami Zayn wrestling, as he's been mostly a manager. So it's very little has he actually wrestled. I think when they gave Sami Zayn the strap, I think it was to be kind of a short-term deal thing here. But now, if I look at it, him going up against Daniel Bryan, I think it's going to play out somewhere, somehow, that Sami Zayn wins, and Daniel Bryan is going to be written off TV for a while. His wife is pregnant. He mentioned before in interviews in Daniel Bryan that he's going to need to self-quarantine for a couple of weeks. You have Daniel Bryan with the strap. What are you going to have him do? You're going to have him come on TV, a couple of tapings, and then he's going to go back to quarantining himself? I just don't see it. I'm sure maybe WWE had something differently planned initially, but I think Sami Zayn retains the title. You have in a pre-show match as well, Liv Morgan versus Natalya. Really no rhyme or reason here. Both of them are faces, unless something has changed here that I'm not aware of. A match that was kind of just seems like thrown together. A pre-show match. Liv Morgan, a new character. They just reintroduced her now. Reintroduced her as in what turned out really to be a flop, honestly. They reintroduced her now. Bobby Lashley, Lana's, Rusev storyline turned out to be a flop. Kind of ended as quickly as it's, ended relatively quickly. She never really got her comeuppance or win. You gotta, it seems like it's stop-start. You don't know what Liv Morgan is at this point. Liv Morgan needs this victory. Natalya, she doesn't need this victory at all. Give me Liv Morgan. Flair versus Rhea Ripley. I just think, what's best for Flair right now would honestly be to win the NXT title. And I'm going to say that Flair wins the NXT title. Have her be in NXT for a little bit there. Charlotte Flair needs to be... I think you need to kind of... absence makes the heart grow fonder, in a sense. If Charlotte Flair loses, right, and she goes back to Raw or SmackDown where she was, who's she gonna fight again? Who's she gonna fight? Asuka again? Bayley again? What? We've seen these matches a gazillion times. With Flair if Flair wins, she's in NXT. Give her something fresh. Get her off of the main stage TV. That way, when she comes back and loses the title, things will be fresh. With her being NXT, she's gonna be able to kind of give her enlightenment, give her experience to the NXT wrestlers now. Charlotte Flair with the win over Rhea Ripley. Street Profits versus the team of Angel Garza and Austin Theory. Austin Theory, people are saying that he's going to be a star player. No, we heard that about many wrestlers, and never sometimes from the NXT to Raw, SmackDown, it never transcends that way. So you got to give that time. First of all, it's way too soon to be saying something like that. But on the other end of it, Street Profits versus Theory and Garza. This is a match really that this is a match that I could see being kind of like one of these throwaway matches, being a quick match. One of these guys who Montez Ford pretty much broke his back out there on the ring. I could see it being a cluster, cluster where the team of Garza and let's say Austin Theory win, protecting the Street Profits. They still have the championship after Garza and Theory kind of attack the Street Profits before the bell starts. The bell starts and they're going after them. They refuse to break up for the 10 count, and the match is thrown away. Something like that I can see happening. So, give me Street Profits with victory via disqualification. Garza in theory beat up the champs. Champs, come back and attack them. So you make both teams look, okay, right at the end of the day. Next matchup: Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins. Now I remember in 2010. The blood matchup that these guys had in ROH. Tyler Back, Kevin Steen. Almost 10 years later. 10 years later, different era now. Kevin Owens. Has that stunner. Has he been wreaking havoc exactly with that stunner? Arrive, stun, and leave, not so much. Seth Rollins had his group. What's going on with Buddy Murphy? Who knows? AOP looked like they're back on the shelf. So that's falling apart. The Monday Night Messiah seems to be, back on his own here again. I see Seth Rollins winning this one. Maybe a low blow, not a clean finish. Doesn't beat Kevin Owens cleanly. Does something heelish to get the victory. Kevin Owens. Comes back on the offensive after Seth Rollins is just talking smack to the outside of the ring. He's talking smack into the camera, cutting some type of a promo. I beat Kevin Owens, yada yada yada. This gives Kevin Owens some time to kind of recoup and maybe give Rollins a stunner there. Give me Seth Rollins with the victory over Kevin Owens. A cheating maneuver. Kevin Owens sends the audience at home happy at the end of it. Shayna Baszler versus Becky Lynch. I don't know. I just see this portrait, this image of Shayna Baszler being this unstoppable force. She beats up everyone that comes in her way, destroys them, annihilates them, and who could stop her? Who could stop her? Well, David and Goliath, so to speak. Guess who stops her? Becky Lynch. Rocky versus the Big Bad Russian. Becky Lynch to save the day when everyone counted her out after being attacked numerous times by Shayna Baszler. She overcomes it just barely overcomes it. The champ proves why she's the champ, and she defeats Shayna Baszler. What's next? Styles versus Taker. AJ Styles versus Undertaker. You see kind of the introduction here. The reintroduction of the American, with the badass Undertaker, from those days. You had mentions of, AJ Styles by his real name. You had mentions of, Undertaker and his real wife. He mentioned Undertaker by his real name. AJ Styles trying to unmask the Undertaker. And this is a boneyard match. So what exactly does that mean? Is it a casket match? Is it just a regular pin? Is it, do you have to throw your opponent into a grave? Who knows what a boneyard match exactly encompasses. But I do think that, bringing up Michelle McCool, I do think Michelle McCool is involved somewhere in this match. You know that the Good Brothers will be involved somewhere in this match. And this is one of the instances, or this is one of the matches that I said could really be the highlight. And this is how the WWE could really surprise us all. You have time. These are pre-taped productions where if you don't like the way something came out, you could pretend they never existed and just redo it all over again. So this is one of these matches that the WWE has that opportunity to do something with. So I could see this being a very cinematic type of match. See Michelle McCool being involved somewhere. Maybe throw out a few surprises. Now, might be just a vivid imagination by me because of coronavirus, but maybe we'll see somewhere Kane. Maybe we'll see somewhere Sting. Being that these characters that you could associate with being in a cemetery, fighting for the Undertaker. Kane, the Demon, Sting, the Crow, a force that was unexplainable in WCW. As the in the Crow years, quote unquote. So I could see that happening. Surprise me. Throw it in there. AJ Styles, is a TNA guy, and you know how much Vince really loves those TNA guys. AJ Styles losing doesn't hurt him at all. Undertaker, he has already lost a couple of these WrestleManias, so that's something that would be not something that's been uncommon. It's been done before, but I don't think Vince McMahon is going to give a guy that's not homegrown that privilege of beating the Undertaker. AJ Styles loses to Taker in this one. We next have the Firefly Funhouse match. As a preview, you've seen Bray, then you've seen The Fiend. Don't worry, folks, I don't think you will see Husky Harris in this one. If you recall, in case you didn't know, John Cena cut a promo where he basically said Fiend, but it's Bray Wyatt, which is Husky Harris. No, WWE does not want you to remember Husky Harris. But I see this being as another cinematic type of match, where WWE can do a lot of things with. Maybe some type of real-life version of Sister Abigail, the Buzzards, a lot of things that you could do with this type of match. Bray Wyatt needs to get his win back over John Cena. He really does. The Fiend, loses to Goldberg. Goldberg wasn't afraid of the Fiend. John Cena doesn't look to be afraid of the Fiend either. So you hope, some way, somehow, the Fiend can pull out a victory. Otis versus Dolph Ziggler. We've seen what unfolded. Sonya Deville has a lot of explaining to do with Mandy. I would have personally, liked to see Tucker being involved somehow with this. That could still somehow happen. But it seems like WWE wants to, keep this tag team of Otis and Tucker together still. That honestly maybe works out the best for Tucker, because I think he definitely needs Otis for now. So, Otis has been made to look silly quite often in the last coming weeks. I see Otis finally getting a victory. The lovable loser finally getting a victory against Dolph Ziggler. Mandy Moore gets upset with Dolph Ziggler, maybe walks away on Dolph Ziggler, or distracts Dolph Ziggler to cause him to lose somehow. But there is dissension versus Ziggler and Mandy. A little bit of dissension. You have now, who knows what is happening between this team of Morrison and Miz. Is Miz on it? Is he not? You hear rumors, you hear rumbling, you don't know what's what. Versus New Day versus the Usos. Listen, if in fact this three-way did go on, Miz and Morrison, I think will retain. If it's not, and if it's like a ladder match, what people are saying with the Usos versus Morrison, I see the Usos winning it. Miz and Morrison, they just put them together. They just came out with some type of a video, like a rap video. They're trying to put the gas a little bit on, Miz and Morrison, see what they could do with it. Usos and New Day, they've had this title so many times already. Miz and Morrison is something new, something different. That's why I think they will continue to have the title. Braun Strowman in, Roman Reigns out. I'm sure that was not the plan with WWE. I can't see Goldberg being here for more than WrestleMania as the champion. It's a lot of TV appearances he would have to make, I'm sure. I'm sure this is not what he signed up for. And it seems like, even though Roman Reigns did what is best, I think, it seems like, WWE is a little upset at Roman Reigns. No mention of why Roman Reigns is no longer in the matchup. Kind of like, swept it under the rug. It would have been nice if WWE told us why. Maybe you could even do like a public service announcement. Listen, stay at home. this is what could happen, this is what Roman Reigns says. No, nothing like that. Just, here it is. Here's Braun Strowman. And everything that's been happening with Braun Strowman and indie workers and social media, that really in this case does not matter, because I think they're upset at Roman Reigns, and they're gonna have Braun Strowman carry this title now. Change of plans. Braun Strowman, he looks like he is in the right place at the right time. That's what happened. So Braun Strowman will win this title against Goldberg. Lesnar versus McIntyre. Had this been a live crowd, I think you would have seen it differently. You would have seen it changed hands. I don't think they want to have the title switch with no crowd reaction, especially the way they've been building up McIntyre versus Lesnar earlier on. So I think you're going to have Lesnar retaining the championship. Now listen, say what you want to say about Lesnar. This Lesnar, this guy knows what he's doing. He's dedicated. Listen, he has a schedule that he comes in when Vince McMahon tells him to. Okay, you're not going to show up and do more dates as a freebie. He does what he's been asked to do, and he does it effectively. And telling McIntyre to be here at certain spots, throw the belt, take the belt. This guy just knows what he's doing. He's a true professional. I think Lesnar is going to even say, listen, don't have McIntyre win. Have him win in front of a crowd. So I think Lesnar will win this one. Aleister Black versus Bobby Lashley. Aleister Black needs this. Bobby Lashley, this is kind of a match that's been thrown together. Really doesn't do, Bobby Lashley doesn't need this. You got to give it to Aleister Black. Kabuki Warriors versus Bliss versus Bliss. Team Bliss. Kairi Sane hasn't really been given much. Asuka has been front and center. Kabuki Warriors retain. Kairi Sane has her WrestleMania moment, then it'll be a great one. Elias versus Baron Corbin. Elias to me has star written all over him, but he never just really, all he does is the singing guy. He's a singing guy, and I like Baron Corbin. But, Baron